Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 479 of Screw the Commute podcast. I'm here with Lauren Resnick. Now, she is a coach for powerful women looking to pivot from their 9 to 5 and begin a fulfilling entrepreneurial life. And you guys out there, don't tune out, because you probably should pass this on to some of the women in your life. And I was just thinking about it. Hey, if you're a gigolo, get your women making a lot of money with Lauren's help, and then they can take care of you. Maybe that'll work out. I'm not sure. So Lauren is a natural networker. Hope she tells us a little bit about that. And she has a program, Step Into Your Greatness, one-on-one motivational accelerator coaching. And I know she's going to tell us about that. And also, she's figured out how to deal with all that testosterone out there in a male-dominated industry. And she has been in one for a long time, and she figured it out. So she'll pass that on to us. We'll have her on in a minute. Hope you didn't miss episode 478. That was my personal web development method. I've critiqued over 10,000 websites in the last 27 years. And I've had hundreds of my own. And I think you'll be very surprised at how my web development method starts out. So if you want to listen, if you missed that episode and all back episodes, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number. That was 478. And I'm sure you'll want to pass on episode 479 with all Lauren's great stuff. Now, how'd you like me to send you big commission checks? Well, if you're in my referral program or affiliate program, that's what I'll do. Anywhere from $8.50, which you can blow at Starbucks, to in excess of $5,000 for a speaking engagement. So that's just for one referral. So check that out by emailing me at tom@screwthecommute.com, and we'll give you all the details. Pick up a copy of my automation ebook. This ebook has allowed me to handle up to 150,000 subscribers and 65,000 customers without pulling my hair out. We actually figured it out a couple years ago. Just one of the tips in this ebook has saved me 7.5 million keystrokes, which allows me to work way faster and ethically steal customers from people that are busy, I don't know, on the beach at Mallorca, Spain or something. I don't know. So you'll see what that means in a minute. Grab it at screwthecommute.com/automate free, screwthecommute.com/automate free. And while you're at it, pick up a copy of our podcast app at screwthecommute.com/app. That's APP. Now, I usually tell you about my school. It's the only licensed, dedicated internet and digital marketing school in the U.S., probably the world, certified to operate by SHEV, the State Council on Higher Education in Virginia. But you don't have to be in Virginia. You can be anywhere in the world as long as you can speak English and attend the school. So I usually go into a bunch of details about that, but I got to skip that today because we're right in the middle of a pilot program I'm doing. It's one of my most legacy programs that I'm most proud of. You know, I've helped lots of dogs and little kids and homeless people and everything else over the years. But this one, I want to change somebody's life permanently. And so this is a pilot program where we are training persons with disabilities to not only be able to study from home, but legitimately work from home. And so I want you to check it out. If you can contribute, that'd be really great. Any little bit helps. The pilot program is going not only to train 5 persons with disabilities, but we are going to hire persons with disabilities to help run the program. So any little bit helps. So check it out at imtcva.org/disabilities. That's plural. Click on the GoFundMe campaign and check it out. You'll actually see some updates from the people. I mean, they're very inspirational. The one guy has vision of 2,500. That means, you know what that means if you're 20/20 or you're not, but he's got his face stuck in this giant monitor bigger than a drive-in theater and doing his work. And we're just so proud to help him and the other folks in the program. So check it out. All right, let's get to the main event. Wow, we have Lauren Resnick here. She is an architect by trade, and an experienced project manager for projects such as the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York City. She's a speaker, she's an author, and a power coach who helps female leaders pivot from their 9 to 5 to a fulfilling entrepreneurial life. Lauren, are you ready to screw the commute?
How can you not laugh to that? I am so ready to screw the commute. 100%.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you are quite a woman of the world. I've been looking at your Instagram stuff, and oh man, you do all kinds of great stuff. And not only helping women empower themselves, you are a well-respected travel writer, and you've got this cool Instagram account I've seen. But the first thing I want to jump into is I want to know, since you're an architect, what
Mhm.
project are you most proud of?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that great introduction, Tom. I am most proud of the one you mentioned, although I didn't design it. The Whitney Museum of American Art, I will definitely consider my baby. I worked on that. I was what they call a client representative or senior project manager, where I was really in charge of looking over the entire process of that building. So when I arrived in New York, it was basically dirt on the ground. And we built this 220,000 square foot museum with event space to restaurants, theater, museum space. I mean, it was really incredible project. And if there are any design buffs out there listening, it was designed by Renzo Piano, who's a famous Italian architect. And, just such an honor to number one, work with the Whitney, and of course work with Renzo, who's been kind of an idol to me my whole architectural journey. So yeah, absolutely amazing project to work on.
That is amazing. And how are they doing, when you consider the COVID stuff, when a lot of stuff shut down in New York? They still okay?
They're doing okay as far as I can see. I think the city did help out a lot of cultural institutions like the Whitney. So I think they're back on their feet now. They have, the doors open again, and just doing the best they can. I think it really crushed a lot of, obviously hospitality, but also arts and cultural institutions. So yeah, I think it's a slow process, but exciting to see them back on their feet.
Yeah, that's good because boy, it was looking shaky there for New York for a long time. So, and then one other thing before we get into your stuff is, do you have any opinion about that building collapse in Miami?
Oh gosh, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, anytime you hear about a bridge collapse or a building collapse, you are, as someone who's trained in understanding the importance of design and rigor around actual structure, it's heartbreaking. You just can't believe. I mean, if you were listening to the story behind it, there were reports of people complaining about so many problems in that building that were just gone unheard. The building wasn't being checked, and it just, buildings get old like all of us, right? So they do need maintenance, and if they're not taken care of, just like ourselves, we fall apart. So it's so important to pay attention. I really like this analogy actually, because it's good lead in, but got to pay attention to those creaks and to the things that are just not quite right to avoid, complete collapse. So yeah, I think that it's a complete disaster and horrible for the people involved and who were there, and just a real shame that the problems went unheard for so long.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Lauren, I got to remind you, you're not supposed to lie on my show because you said you're getting older, but you look about 12 years old. So I think you're lying to me. Uh,
You can say we can be friends now.
and yeah, I watched like a 45-minute thing by an engineer because they had video of the thing collapsing from security video, and he was pointing out all these little tiny details in addition to all the obvious things. So yeah, it was quite a thing. So let's get into some of the things. So you're in that field, and that's been typically a male-dominated field for many years, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember studying architecture, and the whole auditorium would be, I guess, 95% male, and there would just be a little scattering of women in the room. And it kind of got better. I mean, it's a 6-year course. It's pretty intense and long. And I think towards the end it started to actually get better and more women were joining. But even when you get out of university and you're in the workforce and you're working on these big projects, whether they're big or small, they all seem to be male dominated. And you get the odd woman here or there, but it's still very, very much male dominated. Yes.
I guess you call them odd because there's not very many in there. I don't know, but
That's not because they're odd,
I know.
just the odd one.
Well,
It might be odd.
so how did you feel? Like I saw it mentioned, people ask you, like, how did you deal with all that testosterone and come out
Yeah.
on the upside of this?
You know, that's a really interesting question, because it would have been great to be able to look up to some, a woman that was more senior than me as I was learning, as I was growing in this industry. But there were very few that I would actually admire. The ones that I were more senior typically were what you would expect. They kind of had this very aggressive personality, and not someone, there wasn't one that really stands out as someone I admire, which was really, a big shame. So yeah, it was through actually, just going through it myself. And that's often the best way to learn, right? Is how to deal with being, sometimes the only woman around the board table or on a construction site or, in a lecture hall, that wherever you are, how do you maintain being your feminine self, keeping that feminine energy, and being assertive without being aggressive. I think that balance it's really delicate balance. But yeah, we can go through some more detailed tips around that for
Well,
sure.
yeah, but before we got on, I kind of coined you yin yang because, one of the things we're going to talk about later is you're known as a princess to some people. And then you said, yeah, but on the other hand, I was known as a bulldog. So how do you play both roles?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, maybe it's got to do with my Gemini star sign, but no, look, I think the thing is, when I started working very much, especially in the project management sector, which was even more male dominated than architecture, I actually started taking on these masculine traits because I was looking at the guys around me thinking, well, they're successful, they're winning at their job, as in they're asserting themselves, people respect them, yada yada yada. What are they doing? So I started to take on some of the traits in behavior, and then also in the way that they dress. So I would dress, with trousers and shirts. And when as I got a bit older, a few more years behind me, I started to see there were some women in the office that they really owned their authentic self. They wore beautiful dresses, they dressed well, they were well respected. And I saw that you don't have to look or act like a man to really have the respect that they do. So it kind of took me aback. I saw, for example, one of our CFOs was a woman, and she would wear heels, she would wear a dress, she would look great, the guys respected her. And I thought, you know what, she owns that, and I can do that too. And it took a few years to have that confidence, but absolutely, by the time I grew up in Australia, moved to New York. By the time I was in New York, or towards the end of my time in Australia, I really was owning it. And I think if I can pass on any guidance to people who are struggling in that sector, it would be your authentic self. Wear clothes that you feel good in, that also, that embody your femininity, and don't worry about judgment, because I actually think it works in the opposite way, is actually being who you authentically are, and people will respect you for it.
Yeah, and I've seen this a lot in the legal field, which in the past has been male dominated, and a lot of women come in and they want to be, quote, ball busters like the guys, and it just doesn't work. They just should be their assertive self, and their femininity a lot of times can help them actually. So all this, what you're talking about now, is part of your Step into Greatness program. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. I mean, I worked in the design and construction industry for more than 17 years and
See, you're
stepped
lying again to me. You don't even look 17 years old. God, you lie a lot. I don't know. You
That's,
you
I
Cape
love
Town
a bit
people.
of flattery, Tom. I can't lie. But yeah, so it feels like forever. But I always felt, and anyone listening here might feel the same, that you like a job and you like your clients and everything's okay, but you were meant for something more. You kind of have this feeling like, I know I could do something more than this. I feel like there's something just calling me. Maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe I know what it is, but I don't know how to get there. But that was the voice going on in my head for so many years. And it took me to moving to London actually to finally step out. And for the last 2 years, I now own multiple businesses and so happy with my entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, and when you're helping women, I mean, I speak to a lot of females, and there's another factor that they kind of feel guilty sometimes that they're taking, to be a top executive, they're taking time away from their kids, and they don't feel like they're doing their motherly duties. So you address all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, I think that's the best thing. I really wanted to, what I call, design my life with intention. So if you have this idea for your life of how you want it to look, then build your business around that rather than building a business and then having to shape your life around the business. I really feel that that's so important, especially for women. And maybe even during COVID, this may have come to light for a lot of people, is that you can work from home, you can have a balanced life. There are multiple ways to do what you're currently doing, and not to be limited by the thought that you have to have this 9 to 5 in order to achieve your goals.
Now, you have a thing called Motivational Accelerator Private Coaching. Is that how you help women? Is it all private? I thought I saw some group stuff that might have been for another program, but
Yeah.
so what exactly is Motivational Accelerator Coaching, and what could someone expect if they were in it?
Oh. So this is really under the Step into Your Greatness program. So the Motivational Accelerator is really helping women take that step, take the risk in pivoting from a 9 to 5 to an entrepreneurial life. And I know that sounds extremely daunting, because even the most powerful women in senior roles, they've been doing their role and their job so well for so long. It seems like, why would you leave if you're at the top of your game? But to know that there is actually something even better when you do leave is profound. And by speaking to a coach such as myself, is taking the risk out of that, because I really do provide step-by-step guidance on going, right, well, where are you now? Are you in a corporate job? Are you doing 9 to 5, or have you left already? Where are you in that process? And then we take through wherever you are starting, and we take you through that process to get you to a successful entrepreneurial life.
Okay, so I'm a little bit confused here. So you
Mm-hmm.
help me out.
Oh
So
no.
you just said that you're reducing the female's risk by having them come out with intention and all these things. But you just
Mm-hmm.
had a discussion with my friend Stephen Kuhn,
Yes.
and it was about why women should take big risks.
Yeah.
So what's the
Yeah.
difference
Absolutely.
here?
Let me explain. It's a mindset thing. So taking a big risk is really all in your mind, and the risk is really in your mind about how to take those steps. It's so daunting sometimes to actually go and take the step, and that fear and that those limiting beliefs of, I can't do it, I haven't done it before, how do I start, I couldn't do this, why would I do this? Yeah, all of these limiting beliefs that sometimes go around in our head, they lead to our doubts and our fears. So it seems like a big risk at the time. And what I'm encouraging people to do is to speak to a coach who's already done it before. It actually takes out the risk. So it's a little play on words, Tom, in thinking it's a big risk, but you can minimize that risk when you speak to someone who's already done it before.
Got it. All right, perfect promo for coaching, that's for sure. I'm all for that. So you really have created a lifestyle business. I looked at your Instagram account, and it's hard to tell where in the heck you are, like from picture to picture. She's got the most beautiful photographs, and she even teaches people how to get their boyfriend or girlfriend to take the pictures without getting all mad. So I saw a post like
That's a
that.
challenge sometimes.
What's that?
That's a challenge sometimes.
Well, yeah, all you Instagram princesses. The guy wants to take a vacation, and he's just snapping pictures of you all day long.
Yeah. No, look, as I mentioned before about designing the life that you want and having this intention for your life, for me, it's so important to be traveling. I don't know about anyone else listening, but it feels like I need it for my life. It's kind of, when we were in lockdown, it was bad enough, and not being able to travel was just,
Well, isn't that still going on?
It is to a certain extent, absolutely. And but I think the thing where I was going with that sentence was that we actually made an intention during lockdown that we wanted to live by the water and do this extended stay in Mallorca. So instead of what I would normally be doing around this time is, traveling a lot and jumping on planes to go to different destinations, I'm actually spent the summer in Mallorca, where I can now work remotely and be able to speak to my clients and work on my businesses, all from just by the ocean. So, I really I can't explain enough or emphasize enough that having an intention for your life is really the starting point. It's thinking, not a lot of people do this and take a step back and just pause and think, what would I like my life to look like if I could do anything without restrictions, without, people getting in the way? What would it look like? And often when you actually take the time to do that, you have this picture in your mind. And once you have that picture, we work backwards to actually reverse engineer getting you there. So it is an important exercise that I really highly recommend people do. And, for me, it was about integrating travel in my life and at least living for a certain period of time in a different destination. So that's super important for me.
Yeah, and I think you kind of came up with this travel idea and becoming a respected travel writer and everything. You were at an airport, and you were talking about traveling as a single. Well, I don't know your status, but I mean, you were talking about traveling as a single female for 7 months out of a backpack. The girls I've known couldn't fit half of their makeup in a backpack. I don't know. And you're known as the princess with a backpack in those circles, right?
That's it. So many, many moons ago, when I finished studying architecture, I went, like a lot of Australians, went to Europe, and I never thought of myself as a backpacker. I was one of those women who always, packed too much and took too many pairs of shoes and all of that. And but the opportunity came up to travel with my sister and a friend in summer in Greece. And then one of my friends suggested we stay on when we visit Turkey. So we did that. And then she had to leave, and I just caught the travel bug and I couldn't leave. So I went to probably 9 different more cities after that, just traveling through Europe, going through Spain, Portugal, Germany, France, you name it. And after that, I realized how many tips and lessons learned I had gained on those 7 months, and thought, well, what a great idea for a book. So So yes, as you mentioned, sitting in a tiny little airport in Paris on my way home to Australia, I just started writing down tips I'd learned specifically for women who were looking to backpack in style and do it safely and with a bit of sass. So that was the beginning of Princess with a Backpack, which was really my travel blog now, and my travel writing career. I've written for Huffington Post and Drive Global, Sydney Morning Herald, and multiple different platforms. So it's been an amazing journey. It's this very, I guess, rich tapestry of life that I've just managed to weave in together.
So I imagine things are a little different now than when you first did this. So safety wise and virus wise and everything. So you have a course on this, right?
I do. Thanks for mentioning it. Yeah, I actually have just launched a travel content creators course. It's now open for September. If anyone is interested in learning how to become a travel writer, travel blogger, content creator, and start partnering with luxury hotels like I do. I've worked with some of the most luxurious hotels around the world, staying at their properties for free and helping them with their marketing. So it really teaches people how to the gift of travel writing and actually talking through the process of travel writing, and also the more obviously modern Instagram, social media worthy content creation as well.
Yeah, and if you want to start salivating, folks, look at Lauren's Instagram account at Princess with a Backpack. I think that's what, right?
That's it.
Yeah. And you see here in all these gorgeous places that are just the most gorgeous you've ever seen, and then you look at the next picture. Oh my God, there's another gorgeous place that she's sucking down all their food for free, and I'm thinking, oh man.
That's it. I actually hadn't started the course until the beginning of the summer, and I've had students sign up, and it's been amazing to be able to teach all that I've learned over the years, and it's actually so exciting to be able to share with people all of this information that I've just thought wasn't really worth sharing until now, and I'm so grateful to have my students and bring on new students, and it's super exciting to be able to share this information.
Yeah, and folks, I got an eagle eye for this stuff. She is quite a marketer and knows how to make money, because a lot of her Instagram things show you where you can buy the things you're seeing in there, and so she's playing the game right. So making money, traveling the world on somebody else's dime, that's pretty cool.
That's how we should do it. Yeah. That's how it should be done. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got to take a brief sponsor break. When we come back, I'll give her a little heads up on this, and I'll help her along in case she forgot. But we're going to talk about 4 things that Lauren says to know if you're feeling stuck. And then we'll see what a typical day looks like for her, which I'm afraid to ask, since mine is get up, feed the dogs, clean up poop, and then get on the computer. Not quite the jet-setting lifestyle of Lauren, the princess. But folks, I just want to remind you again about the program for persons with disabilities. I mean, they've been dealt a hand much more difficult than most of us. Like, for instance, if I want to go to 7-Eleven, I jump into Suburban, I'm down and back in 15 minutes, where it might take a person with a disability an hour and a half just to get ready to get in a vehicle. So we really want to change their lives. I kind of equate it to, what's the name of that joint that Lauren helped build? Let's see. Whitney Museum. It's like if you contributed to the museum and got your name up on the wall, and it's there permanently because you made a permanent good addition in the world. Well, that's what I'm talking about when you help out, get scholarships for these folks. It's like, having your name as a plaque at a park, because it's going to be there permanently for what you did. So you can be very proud of that. And then this is a pilot program, so that once I prove the concept, then I'm rolling it out really big for foundations and big companies, so I can help loads of people with disabilities. Because if you look at the statistics, they're 4 times more likely to commit suicide. They're 3.7 times as likely to have depression. They have the highest unemployment rate in many, many years. So I'm going to do something about it one way or the other, and I'd love to have your help. So check it out at imtcva.org/disabilities. That's plural. Click on the GoFundMe campaign and check it out. Any little bit helps. And if you're really flush with cash, you could actually sponsor a person for their full scholarship. And by the way, full scholarship means full scholarship. They have absolutely zero expenses, no travel expenses, no food, no stupid fees like these colleges throw at you. And they don't have to travel to do their studies, and they're going to get a high demand skill, which is internet and digital marketing. So look forward to having you help us out. All right, let's get back to the main event. Lauren Resnick is here. She is the princess in a backpack. She's also a bulldog. I can't figure out exactly what she is, but she's living a great lifestyle business and traveling the world doing it. And she can teach you how to do it too. So, Lauren, I noticed 4 things you said. I'm just going to knock them out real quick here, and then you can expand on them. If you're feeling stuck as a woman, I guess the same things that really apply to a man too, in whatever you're doing, and you want to get out. So Lauren says, number 1, don't dwell on feeling stuck for too long. Number 2, shut out the noise from others and trust your heart. Number 3, be certain that incredible things are ready for you. And number 4, take imperfect action, rather than waiting for things to be perfect to start. Lauren, give us some more details on that.
Sure. Thanks so much, Tom. Let's start with number 1. Don't dwell on feeling stuck for too long. So, really, if you're having these thoughts in your mind and you're feeling stuck and frustrated, the worst thing is to be sitting on the thoughts and just getting these thoughts boiling up inside you. The best thing to do is to speak to someone. I mean, that's why I love working with a coach myself and why I have a coach. And that's what I have for my clients as well. So having a coach and being able to download your frustrations, often, just by talking it through, either you come up with the idea or your coach helps you come up with the idea. Either way, it moves you from being stuck and frustrated to on the right path. So the second one is shutting out the noise from others. That person that kind of dumps their problems on you, or you tell them an idea and they shut it down. That's it is just noise. So in order to move on from that, it's sometimes harder said than done, but honestly, try and go with your gut. That what they say, gut feeling, and that actual, you can actually feel it in your stomach. Go with that feeling, go with the emotions in your heart. I know these are very soft words, but think about it. The last time you really felt your intuition speak to you, that's probably a reason why. And listen to that. If it doesn't feel right, don't go for it. If it does, go for it. And the third one was be certain that incredible things are ready for you. And what I mean by that is when you create space in your life to hear and feel good, you will notice that good things start flowing into your life. And be certain that good things are just around the corner for you, especially when you're going through tough times like starting a business. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel frustrating, all of these feelings you get. But when you have certainty about your life, when you take away that noise, take away those doubts, the limiting beliefs, with certain that you will get through, and you create space for that to happen, they start to flow in. When you have doubts and when you have fears, that's when you're blocked off to these great opportunities. So that was number 3. Be certain that incredible things are ready for you. And then the fourth one, take imperfect action rather than waiting for things to be perfect to start. And we all have been in this situation when we're like, I just can't do it. It's not perfect. I don't know what I'm doing. What if I fail? These thoughts are often in our minds, especially when we're doing new things. But really, we are more forgiving than you think. So doing something small, taking the step, either learning from it, either way you'll learn from it. If it's a success, you'll learn from it. If it doesn't work, you'll still learn from it. But doing is so important in that first step to success. I have to say one thing about taking imperfect action. Especially if you're someone who has like anxiety, or you're really quite anxious or fearful about taking that imperfect action, I highly actually recommend taking a breath, doing some meditation, and then taking the action. Because when you take action from a calm place, the action will be so much greater. The impact will be better. It will be more clear-headed than if you're doing it from a state of anxiety and from tension. So take imperfect action, but take it with a calm state. I hope that helped.
Yes. So and again, those are just not for women. Those exact things work for men. And in the words of our friend, my friend, and her coach, Stephen Kuhn, it's all about quality of life. So I don't know if you've heard him say that or not yet, but
all the time.
he will. Yeah. So yeah, that's great tips for getting unstuck. Now, you've been called a natural networker, and I'm wondering what you mean by that, because I looked at your Instagram and I thought, oh my God, nobody would ever come up and talk to you, because you're like that girl that's way out of their league. So do you just like to chat with people, or how do you? And networking got you on this show, tell you the truth, because Stephen's a friend of mine. He recommended you. Boom, boom, boom. Here you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what.
And you met him on Clubhouse, right?
I did, exactly. I met Stephen Kuhn, who's my coach as well, on Clubhouse, and I took a chance. I took that imperfect action, and I sent him a message, and I said, I don't really know who you are, but I know I need to speak to you. And we just clicked, and he said, I don't often I especially don't work with everyone, but there's something about you. I'm really happy to work with you. So, I always just say, go for it. The worst that can happen is someone says no, or it doesn't work out. I think I often do things and don't overthink it, just to get in there, just to make that imperfect action, take that step. So natural networking is quite the same, because, think about old style networking, when you're in an event and you're in a room with hundreds of people and you don't know anyone, and you just have to start introducing yourself. I think I always think, what do I want to walk away at the end of the evening with? Definitely not with, hundreds of business cards, but rather leaving an impression in someone's mind, so the next time I do contact them, they will remember me. And, it is about confidence. It is about putting those limiting beliefs aside, those fears, those doubts. And also, especially in a new environment, when you're meeting new people, is listening to them. It's also something Stephen says, is let people talk. They love to talk about themselves. So let them talk and listen. See when they're talking how you can help them. And I find that one of the most powerful networking tools is find a way. If you want to work with someone, you want to partner with someone, whatever it might be, find a way you can help them first, so that you're giving them value straight away. You're thinking, who can I introduce them to? How can I help them? What's going to make their life better? And you give that without asking for anything back, and you watch what happens. It's inevitably a great outcome.
That's amazing. And kind of the same thing happened with Stephen and I. We hit it off instantly. He's kind of a badass Bronze Star winner, and I'm carrying a gun right now. And so he really liked that. And then one of his Marine friends saw me through him, and I got invited to the White House over it.
Wow.
And then I spoke at a big military event, and I'm not a veteran myself. So I started September. Stephen will be on next month, September, for Veterapreneurs Month, we call it. I just love our veterans so much for all the things they do for us, and I made a whole month for them where I highlight military veterans that are entrepreneurs. And but same thing, it was just networking. Let me get you on my podcast to try to promote you. And he introduced me to all these people, and boom, 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 I'm at the White House. So
Unbelievable.
yeah.
What a story. That's really great.
Yeah. And I teach that because online stuff. And of course, you did it online just through Clubhouse. So you can do a lot of stuff. What I can't stand is, see, you'd be perfect at one of these meetings where you'd go and it's networking meeting and everybody's going to want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to me. You said, follow your gut. Well, I got plenty of gut to follow. So I don't want to stand at one of those meetings and just stand there and collect business cards. No, I do it online in a way that's much more efficient, and it's still personal, but it's much more efficient. But you're the natural one. So tell everybody. I'm almost afraid to ask this question. What's a typical day look like for you? Because you're all over the place.
Yeah, well,
let me start with this to preface it for you. Do you get up early? Do you have a morning routine like a lot of people? Do you work out? What do you eat? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't ever set an alarm. So if I wake up at 7 or I wake up at 8:30, that's fine. I think sleep takes preference. And I wake up, I do a workout, whether it's yoga or Pilates or something, stretching. It feels great. And then I'll probably, while I'm here in Mallorca, go for a walk to the beach, which is a 20-minute walk, and then a 20-minute walk back. And I'll make some healthy breakfast, because I always think mind-body connection. And, it's really, really interesting. If you stop, your intake of something that's not great for you, for 2 weeks, your body will start getting used to it. And whether that's sugar or something that's, we all know what's our vice. So now I'm just used to eating really good, healthy food. And
all right, now you said you make it. Now, are you always staying at some luxury thing as a writer, or do you have your own place, or do you do Airbnb?
Right. Sure. So right now I'm renting an apartment in Mallorca, because we've been here for almost 3 months. I have been staying at some luxury hotels during my stay, and I will be staying at some more in September. But while I'm, I guess at home, or at least in an apartment, I will make my own healthy breakfast.
Where do you call home? Do you actually have a home?
I do. I have a home.
What country?
In
London.
In London.
Okay.
In the UK.
Now, do you rent your place out while you're gone, or what do you do?
I do. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I rent it out.
Make money.
Yep. Never want to be in a position where, you're having financial burdens and trying to live this life. It only works if you have a plan. So that is definitely part of that plan.
Well, yeah, I interviewed some digital nomads, and the husband and wife team lived 3 months in every country, but they got rid of their house. They got rid of their car. They're making way more money now, and they live 3 months in each thing, and they stay at Airbnbs. And the guy created a course. He saved like $50,000 in the last 3 months, knowing how to negotiate Airbnbs. So what a lifestyle. Okay, so you're cooking good stuff.
Cooking good stuff. And then I sit down to do some work. So that's either a meeting with a client, or it's working on one of my businesses. So that's pretty much the day. I stop for lunch. I try not to do that whole corporate life, which is eating at your computer while spitting out emails. And then, at the end of the day, I'll do another walk, either by the beach or around the town.
All right, but when do you get all the time for these Instagram pictures?
Yeah, well, I try and do that on the weekends, actually. Unless I'm staying at a resort, I'm always prioritizing time to take photos at when I'm staying at these resorts.
Right, because that's what they want to see, right?
That's what they want to see, exactly.
You actually have a real Instagram account, because I critique a lot of Instagram accounts. I don't fool with mine very much, but I know some of the advanced things, and you actually have people looking at your stuff. So many people have loads of followers that they're all ghosts and fake, and they have 10,000 followers and like 2 comments every 3 days. So
Right.
yeah, you
That's
have
kind of
some rabid people that like your stuff.
I'm lucky. Well, no, look, I'm not going to say I'm lucky.
No, you play it. I see you answering their comments and everything. That's how the engagement goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I never really actually believe in luck. It's always it is hard work, and it is preparation, and it is passion. So the mix of those are what makes it work.
So tell everybody how they find this stuff. You have 2 major facets: the big life skills type of thing, and then the travel writer thing. How do they find this stuff?
Sure. So if you're one of those women, just like how I was in corporate life, or working 9 to 5, and have dreamed of this entrepreneurial, more balanced life, then the Step Into Your Greatness program is definitely for you. It's a 3 to 6 month course, and we have a one-on-one coaching. We speak every week. I guide you through the whole process. So it is really, I'm there, I've got your back. And at the end of it, you will be that successful entrepreneur. And the second
Well, where do they find that? Where do they find it?
Sorry. So that's on lrnprojects.com.
lrnprojects.com. And we'll have this in the show notes, folks.
That's it. And you'll find all my bit of background on my life, on my career history, and also obviously on the coaching. And the second course is my travel content creator course. So if you're interested in learning more about travel writing, travel blogging, content creation, then that is the course for you. And you can find out more on that on either my Instagram, which is Princess with a Backpack, or on my blog, which is princesswithabackpack.com.
All right. Now, do they have to be a gorgeous girl to do this? Because that's what us guys hate.
No, in fact, it's got nothing to do with how you look. And I really honestly mean that. I think it's all about the skills you have, whether we're talking about the travel writing right now.
Right.
If you know what to write, how to write it, if you can take great photos, or even pay a photographer to take great photos, then this is really something that you can excel at. When I started travel writing, I had no experience. Of course, I was an architect, so I spent 6 years studying architecture. I had no writing experience. So it really, I taught myself, and I obviously had some really great opportunities along the way, and I'm teaching everyone now how to do that themselves.
Oh, this is awesome, Lauren. Love to have you back on, and we'll talk about some of your exploits in different countries you've been to and all that stuff.
I love that.
So thanks so much for coming on.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Tom. It was such a pleasure, and really excited to talk to anyone who is interested in either course and just wants to know a little bit more about it.
There you go. So we've got, let me just recap these again. We got lrnprojects.com for the Step Into Your Greatness, and we have princesswithabackpack.com. Is that right?
That's it.
That's for the travel writing. All right. So again, boy, we've had such an interesting talk here today with Lauren Resnick. So Lauren, we really appreciate it. And everybody, we will catch you all